In the savanna, survival often belongs to those who hunt. Yet hunting is only one thread in a far larger story. A story shared by every animal that calls the savanna home. The first voice of the savanna is not always a roar. Sometimes it comes as a sharp, uneven call carried low across the open land, something between a whoop and a cackle. Easy to dismiss, harder to forget. For the spotted hyena, that sound is never empty. It carries rank, urgency, hunger, or the signal that others should come quickly. Voice, here, is currency. At first glance, the hyena seems almost carelessly built. The shoulders sit high, the back slopes away, and the walk has an unhurried, rolling quality that can look like indifference. It is not. Every part of this animal reflects a life spent in a landscape that punishes waste and rewards patience. The jaws are the most obvious measure of that life. Few mammals on these plains can match their pressure. Bone, the part most predators leave, yields to a hyena without much effort. In the savanna, that ability opens a resource others cannot reach. A carcass, to a hyena, is never only what it appears to be on the surface, but reducing them to scavengers misses almost everything. Spotted hyenas hunt. They read herds the way experienced trackers read ground. Watching for the animal that favors one leg, turns a fraction too slowly, drifts to the edge. The pursuit that follows is rarely brief or spectacular. It is sustained, methodical, and draining. Hyenas outlast. They stay with an animal long after another predator might have abandoned the effort. There is something almost relentless in the way they work. Not aggressive exactly, but completely committed. What makes them genuinely remarkable is the range. A single animal may hunt before dawn, scavenge at midday, steal from a leopard by late afternoon, and follow the smell of something carried on the wind by evening. No fixed strategy, no hierarchy of methods. Whatever the landscape offers, they take. In a place where conditions shift without warning, that kind of flexibility is its own form of intelligence. Beneath that adaptability lies something more structured than it first appears. Hyena clans are societies in the proper sense. Females are larger and dominant. And the social order within a clan shapes nearly every interaction. Who feeds first, who yields ground, who earns room to grow. Young hyenas are born into this hierarchy and spend their early months making sense of it. The den becomes their classroom, a place of play and observation, of small confrontations that carry real consequence later. Communication runs through everything. A posture held a moment too long. The pitch of a call. The specific way one animal approaches another. These signals carry information that every clan member reads and responds to. What looks, from a distance, like disorder is usually something more deliberate. A social grammar running constantly beneath the surface. When adults leave the den to range, they carry the memory of this landscape inside them. Old paths, seasonal corridors, places where herds reliably appear. Their sense of smell extends this map even further, a trace on the soil, a scent left on dry grass, the faint, unmistakable signal of blood somewhere upwind. Their effect on the ecosystem reaches beyond what they consume. By processing carcasses completely, bone and all, hyenas accelerate the return of nutrients to the soil. It is unglamorous work. It is also essential. The savanna runs on cycles of death and renewal, and the hyena sits at one of the most critical points in that cycle. As the heat builds toward midday, the clan grows quieter. Some rest in shade. Others remain loosely watchful near familiar ground. The calls fade. The landscape seems, briefly, to hold its breath. But the hyena is still there, reading it, waiting, remembering. Not the most admired animal of the savanna, rarely the most visible, but among the most necessary and, in its own way, among the most intelligent. It survives not by fitting one role, but by refusing to be confined to any single one. In the savanna, the strongest animal doesn't always survive the longest. From a distance, a herd of zebras can look almost peaceful, drifting across open grassland, unhurried, as if nothing demands their attention. But watch more carefully. While some graze, others stand with heads raised, scanning. The calm is deliberate. Danger here rarely gives a second warning. A zebra is not built to fight. Its real advantage is the animal standing next to it, and the one next to that. Hundreds of eyes covering the same horizon at once. A shift in posture at the edge of the group travels inward faster than any sound. By the time most animals register what they're responding to, they're already moving. Those stripes play their part, too. Each pattern is unique, no two animals identical. But when a group moves together, that individuality dissolves into a single rippling mass of black and white. For a predator trying to fix on one target, it is genuinely disorienting. That moment of confusion, brief as it is, can be enough. Out on open plains, there is nowhere to hide, no terrain to use. What a zebra has instead is proximity, the low, constant hum of shared vigilance that never fully switches off. No leader, no single animal choosing the direction, just countless small reactions flowing into one, and zebras are only the beginning. Across the savanna, the same logic plays out at a scale that's hard to comprehend. Wildebeest, gazelles, impalas. During the Great Migrations, They stretch beyond what the eye can follow. From above, they look less like individual animals and more like a slow tide crossing the earth. These gatherings are never fixed. They form, break apart, and come together again. Pulled by rain, fresh grass, the memory of water. Year after year, the same roots reappear, worn into the ground by generations that are long gone. What looks like serenity from a distance is anything but. One animal catches a scent, breaks stride, turns. And within seconds, hundreds follow. The entire shape of the group bends before most have any idea why. No coordinator, no signal anyone could point to. Just information, moving faster than thought. As they pass, the ground itself changes. Soil is broken open, seeds scattered, grass kept from overrunning itself. These animals are not simply crossing the land. In a quiet way, they are maintaining it. For anything that hunts, the great gatherings are both an invitation and a puzzle. Targets everywhere, but almost no way to reach one. Bodies pressed together, directions shift without warning, and whatever weakness exists inside the mass stays buried within it. Somewhere beyond the grass, past the edge of all that motion, something is already watching, still, patient, waiting for the moment the order fractures, and one animal, just for a second, finds itself alone. In the open grasslands, life follows the rhythm of the heat. As the day grows hotter, movement slows. Lions are no exception. Much of the day is spent in shade, conserving energy they will need when the light softens. The lion is one of the few truly social cats. A pride is built around related females that stay in their birthplace for life. Their daughters grow up among aunts and sisters, forming a stable core. Adult males usually arrive as a coalition, take over for a few years, and then move on when younger rivals push in. Males invest in defense. They patrol boundaries, scent mark with urine and scrape the ground, and give full-voiced roars that can carry across several kilometers. The mane is a clear signal, age, condition, and status made visible, but it also offers some protection in fights. It comes with a cost in heat. On a hot day, a heavy mane is something to manage. Females hold the pride together. They keep track of cubs, of each other, and of the shifting herds beyond the trees. They are the main hunters, and they work best as a team. Success is not constant, so they save their energy carefully. It is common for lions to rest for most of the day, then stir as the air cools. Hunting here favors patience and coordination. Lions move at dusk and at night, when their eyes perform well and the wind is easier to read. They use cover, grass, small rises, the edge of an acacia stand, and approach upwind. A loose semicircle can close around a target while another lion waits ahead. When it works, the effort looks simple. It rarely is. Prey varies by region. Zebra, wildebeest, and buffalo are common targets on these plains. But small game is taken when it is practical. Most attempts fail. Teamwork raises the odds, so family ties matter to the hunt as much as to the den. Cubs are the most guarded investment. After a gestation of about 110 days, a lioness keeps her newborns hidden for the first weeks. They start on milk, and several females may nurse each other's young, a small advantage in a landscape where survival is never guaranteed. When the pride feeds, mothers pull meat aside for the smallest mouths. Mortality is high in the first year, especially after a male takeover, so vigilance is constant. Play is not idle here. Stalking, pouncing, and wrestling rehearse what will later pay for the pride. Adults allow space for it and sometimes join in for a moment. It strengthens coordination, builds muscle, and teaches boundaries. Social grooming does the same at a slower pace. Tongues draw through fur. Scent is exchanged. Tension ebbs. Communication is layered. Head rubbing, nuzzling cheek to cheek, reinforces familiarity. Low grunts keep the group in contact in tall grass. Roars align members at dawn and dusk and warn rivals at distance. These sounds stitch the pride together across open ground. The body fits the climate. A sandy coat blends with dry grasses. A layer of fat is modest, so shedding heat is easier. Panting and rest help regulate temperature. Nights belong to the eyes, aided by a reflective layer that gives them a second chance at incoming light. Whiskers map space in the dark. Hearing is keen enough to track hoofbeats through wind. Territories shift with resources. Where prey is abundant, ranges shrink. Where it is scarce, lions roam. Waterholes cluster life during the dry months and can draw prides into tense contact. In some regions, seasonal migrations move the food supply across hundreds of kilometers. Lions adjust, shadowing herds or wading along habitual paths. Their influence reaches beyond the hunt. By taking large herbivores, lions can open space for vegetation to recover, and their kills feed a chain of scavengers, from hyenas and jackals down to beetles and microbes in the soil. Energy moves outward from every carcass, and the grass grows from what remains. In the cool hour before sunrise, the savanna begins to stir once more. Birds call, insects start again. Lions settle after a night's work, or rise to try once more. The pride disappears into the tall grass. Another night has passed. Another hunt is over. Yet across the savanna, life moves on. As the sun climbs higher, new journeys begin. And among the largest travelers on these plains, few leave a greater mark upon the land than the elephants. As the sun climbs higher over the savanna, another giant begins its day. Elephants move at a pace that seems unhurried, yet few animals shape the landscape more than they do. Their paths wind across plains, through woodlands, and between distant water sources, connecting places that have been visited for generations. A herd is more than a gathering of individuals. It is a family held together by memory. Older females guide the group, leading them along routes learned over many years. The youngest walk in the center, surrounded by protection from every side. There is a quiet confidence in the way elephants travel. They rarely rush. Each step is deliberate. Each movement seems part of a rhythm older than the grasslands themselves. Their trunks are among the most versatile tools in the animal kingdom. Powerful enough to move fallen branches, yet sensitive enough to pick up a single blade of grass. They are used for feeding, drinking, communication, and exploring the world around them. Elephants are also known for their remarkable memory. Seasonal water holes, safe routes, and distant feeding grounds can remain part of that memory for many years, helping herds navigate landscapes that are constantly changing. Water is rarely far from their thoughts. In dry seasons, it becomes the center of daily life. Journeys grow longer, and every source of water becomes a destination shared by countless other animals. Despite their size, elephants are often calm. They spend much of their lives avoiding conflict, relying instead on awareness, experience, and the strength of the herd. A raised head, a shift in posture, or a low rumble can carry meaning across surprising distances. As the day moves on, the herd continues its journey across the savanna. Behind them, the landscape slowly settles once more. Among the scattered acacia trees, another familiar figure moves across the savanna. The giraffe sees the landscape from a perspective few other animals can match. Its long neck allows it to reach leaves growing high above the ground, feeding where many grazers simply cannot. A dark tongue, often reaching more than 40 centimeters in length, helps pull foliage from between sharp thorns with surprising precision. There is little urgency in the way a giraffe feeds. Step by step, it moves through the trees, pausing beneath one canopy before drifting toward the next. From this height, the savanna stretches far into the distance. Herds gather and disperse below, while the giraffe continues its quiet search among the branches, turning the upper reaches of the landscape into its own world. Across the open plains, speed belongs to a different hunter. The cheetah is built for pursuit. Its body is light, its limbs long, and every part of its frame seems shaped by movement. Even at rest, there is a sense of tension beneath the surface, as though energy is being carefully stored for a moment that has not yet arrived. Unlike many predators, a cheetah rarely relies on strength alone. It depends on timing. Hours can pass in quiet observation. The grass shifts in the wind, herds drift across the landscape, and the cheetah waits. Patience is as important here as speed itself. When an opportunity appears, everything changes. Acceleration comes almost instantly. The chase is brief, measured in seconds rather than minutes. A flexible spine stretches and contracts with each stride, allowing the animal to cover ground with remarkable efficiency. Yet such effort comes at a cost. After a sprint, recovery is essential, and the hunter must pause while the savanna continues around it. Life for a cheetah is often a balance between opportunity and risk. Larger predators can steal a hard-earned meal, forcing caution even after success. Because of this, every decision matters. A chase begun too early may fail. A chase begun too late may never begin at all. As daylight softens, the plains return to their familiar rhythm. Herds continue their movements. Birds cross the fading sky, and shadows lengthen across the grass. Somewhere among them, the cheetah remains watchful, waiting for another brief moment when stillness gives way to speed. Across the savanna, not every animal relies on speed. Some depend on something far older: strength, patience, and a presence that few others choose to challenge. The rhinoceros moves with surprising quiet for an animal of its size. Step by step, it follows familiar paths between feeding grounds and water. Its poor eyesight is often matched by an excellent sense of smell, allowing it to gather information carried by the wind long before anything comes into view. From a distance, the rhino can seem almost prehistoric. Thick skin forms a natural armor, and the horn that defines its silhouette has made it one of the most recognizable animals on Earth. Yet much of its day is spent in simple routines: feeding, resting, and moving steadily through the landscape. Mud plays an important role in that routine. A wallow provides relief from heat, helps protect the skin, and leaves behind a coating that can discourage biting insects. On hot afternoons, a muddy pool can become as valuable as shade. Despite its formidable appearance, a rhinoceros is often calm when left undisturbed. It asks little of the savanna beyond space and time. As the light begins to soften once more, the animal continues its slow journey across the plains, following rhythms that have endured for countless generations. There is another predator worth mentioning. More than any other hunter on these plains, it depends on cooperation. For African wild dogs, success is rarely the work of a single individual. It belongs to the pack. African wild dogs live and move as a pack. Every member has a role, and success depends on the group rather than the individual. Before setting out, they often greet one another with excited movements and soft vocalizations, reinforcing bonds that help keep the pack together. What follows can seem almost effortless, but it is built on coordination refined through countless hunts. Few predators spend as much time together as African wild dogs, whether resting in the shade, moving through the grasslands, or preparing to set out. The pack remains closely connected. Cooperation extends far beyond the hunt. Food is often shared, and even injured or weakened members may continue to receive support from the group. Communication is constant. Brief calls, shifting postures, and subtle movements help keep individuals aware of one another. The result is a social structure built on coordination and trust, allowing the pack to function as something greater than the sum of its members. As daylight fades across the savanna, the familiar rhythms of the plains continue. Herds follow ancient paths, predators retreat into the shadows, and countless lives move through the grass unseen. For those who live here, there is no beginning and no end to the story. Only another day, another season, another generation taking its place within a landscape shaped by time itself. The savanna is often remembered for its predators, its migrations, and its moments of drama. Yet most of life here unfolds far from those moments. It exists in the spaces between them, in the patient search for water, in the movement of herds across open ground, in the countless decisions made every day by animals simply trying to survive. Nature does not hurry. It does not repeat itself, yet somehow it never truly changes. Every sunrise reveals something new, while every horizon carries echoes of what came before. The longer we look, the more difficult it becomes to separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. What first appears familiar slowly reveals layers of complexity, shaped by forces that have been at work for far longer than any single lifetime. Perhaps that is what makes the natural world so compelling. Not that it offers answers, but that it never runs out of questions. Beyond every landscape lies another one. Beyond every discovery, something still unseen. No matter how much is explored, there is always more waiting beyond the horizon. And in that endless unfolding of life, change, and renewal, nature reminds us of something easy to forget, that the world is far larger, far older, and far more remarkable than we can ever fully understand.